As a kid, the first ever sport I did was soccer, and I started that around 5 or 6 years old. My older brother and I were on the same team, and I played soccer for about 2 years before deciding that I didn't like it and that I wanted to quit. And I didn't like it because my older brother was so much better than I was, and I really didn't like that. So I go to my dad and I tell him that I want to quit, and he says, "Okay, what do you want to do?" And I had no idea. And at the time, we lived on an island, and I loved everything to do with the water. I loved the beach, I loved the pool, and my dad knew these things about me, and so he suggested that I try swimming. My mom, on the other hand, didn't really like the swimming idea for whatever reason, and I distinctly remember her telling me that I wasn't going to like it. But I decided to follow my dad's advice anyways, and so I did swimming. And I started out the very beginner's classes, just learning all four strokes and learning how to not die from getting one side of the pool to the other. And after about a month of being on the team and going to practices, I was signed up for my first ever swim meet. And the swim meet was a 3-day thing, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And my very first race was on Friday, and it was the 15-meter breaststroke. And I don't like breaststroke at all. It's definitely not my favorite. But I swam that race, and apart from coming in last, I was disqualified for a improper stroke technique. And so that was definitely devastating for an 8-year-old at her first meet ever. And I remember going to bed that night just very upset. But the next morning, I was part of the 200-meter freestyle relay, and we swam against 4 or 5 other teams, and I was anchor for that relay. And I remember standing on the deck as the race is going on, waiting for my teammate to come into the wall and touch so that I could go. And I remember looking out and seeing that we were last in this race, which is never good. But my teammate touches, I take off, and I remember just having this drive to go as hard as I could and just put everything I had into that race, kick as hard as I could and stroke as hard as I could. And I managed to get us from last to second, which is much better than last. And I got out of the pool just excited and exhilarated, being able to celebrate with my coaches and my teammates and my family and friends. And it was definitely a great feeling of redemption that I was able to do this. And that great feeling carried on to the rest of the day. The next day, I was able to go to practice on Monday with a smile on my face and being really excited to be there because of the great experience that I had at the meet, even with the DQ on Friday. But I keep with swimming. I continue to swim. I swam in high school. I was on varsity all 4 years. I went to state all 4 years. I was captain my senior year, and it's still something that I do to this day. And very importantly, I am a much better swimmer than my brother is. And so, from all these experiences of my mom telling me I wouldn't like it, my disqualification, my first event of my first meet ever, I learned that no matter what, I just needed to keep my head up because you really don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Tomorrow is another day.